So we're going to create our reflowable ePub right now. There's a few things that we're going to have to do in order to have this read properly, but I'm going to show you what it looks like before we do any of this. So I'm going to export my book as an reflowable ePub, save. I'm going to replace because I already have one in there. Let's look at our some of our general options here. We have a version 2.0.1 and 3.0. So our version 2 has is more accessible to some of the older devices that are out there, and the 3.0 offers some more features in it. But for this ePub, because we really only have text and images, there's no reason why we need to use the higher version. So we're just going to stick with the 2.0.1 version. For my cover, you do have the option to rasterize your first pages, but our first page is my half title. So I'm going to choose my image, which I showed you how to do previously, how to set up your image, but I have mine set in my support file here. I have my ePub cover that I've already set up. I'm going to open, and it'll have my image in there. So that's what I'll see when I open up my document or when it's in the book reader. I do not have a table of content in this one. We are going to get into that one in the larger book. Our content is going to be based on our page layout, and we have our split document set based on paragraph style export tags. Text, we're going to remove any forced line breaks. If you have any hard returns or anything like that in there, it removes them so the book flows nicely. Our objects, we're going to leave as is. Same with all these settings. The other thing that I want you to go down to and make sure that you have your proper title in for your metadata. Your unique identifier, you do not have to change. We're going to leave that as is. You can enter all the other information if you'd like. Let's see. It's 2020. Okay, you can put a description, you can do publisher, rights, any of that information that you have. If you want to stick in there, you can stick in there. We're going to actually going to leave our viewing app as the system default for the book app. I'm going to go okay. So my book opens up. I have my rasterized title or my cover page. And I can see here from my book, my half title page has actually come in with my full title page. I have an image there, which is set on its own page. But let's see what happens when we increase the size of this. Okay, I can actually see that my half title page has come in with my title page, and there's no space in between my image and the front, and it leads right into my first scene. My image over here is set with my text, so that's good. My other image is there as well because I anchored it. I'm going to escape. I'm going to see what happens if I change my text size. My text size changes. But nothing else really. Okay. So let's try to fix some of these issues that are at the front. Let's go into our document. I'm going to delete this one. Okay. Now I'm going to start with my half title page. Okay, I know it was going into my title page, so let's see if we can fix this. To do this, we're going to have to click onto our text frame. We're going to right click. We're going to go to our object export options. Okay, we're going to make sure that our ePub and HTML tab is selected. and we are going to look at our preserve appearance from layout. So we have the option to use existing image for graphic objects, rasterize container, or rasterize content. We are going to use the rasterize content from this one. If we pick rasterize container, it's going to rasterize the whole text frame. And let's say we change the color of our background, it's going to leave this background white, and then let's say we change our background to black, we're going to have a black background. So it's going to have this white container on a black background, which will not look very nice. So let's change this to rasterize content. We're going to come down to custom layout. I'm going to keep the aligning and spacing as is, but I am going to make sure that my insert page break is selected and that I've selected after my image. I also want to change the size. It's normally set to none, but I'm not going to do the default. In fixed, we can actually change the size of it to be fixed, but that way it won't size up and down with our text. I'm going to pick relative to text flow, because in this way the image is going to change from the size that our ePub is. If we change it to relative to text size, we'll find that our pictures actually end up going to part of it goes to other pages. So we want to make sure that it's relative to the text flow. And we're not going to do a custom width or height. We want it to change just based on the text flow. Let's go done. Let's do the same thing for our title page. Default, rasterize my content. I'm going to change my custom layout. Again, I'm going to insert my page break after my image, and then I am going to set this one to relative to text flow as well. If you have a full page image, it's handled pretty much the same. Okay, so we go to our object export options. This one, I am going to rasterize the container because my container, the bounding box, sits right at the edge of the image. Change my custom layout. I want to make sure that it's in the center. I'm going to insert my page break again after my image, and I'm going to change this to relative to text flow. It will change to when we change the text size of it, but this one just keeps in mind the actual your document size, your ePub size, and if it's sized up or down. Done. Okay, so you notice that my images did stay with my text, and that's because I have my anchor text block. I'm going to go to my export options again. I'm going to rasterize my container. Custom layout, I don't need to insert a page break, but I am going to make sure that it's relative to the text flow. Done. Same for this one. I'm going to rasterize the container. That one's set to be right aligned, which our ePub doesn't actually read it side by side, so I'm going to make sure that that's centered as well. We don't need to insert a page break, and I am going to change again relative to the text flow. Okay, let's see what happened. Save over top. I'm going to keep all of my settings. Let's actually start on the first page. Okay, so I'm going to just expand the width of this so we can see the two pages side by side. And you'll see now that my half title is on the first page and my title page is on the second page. Let's go back to the next page. my image, my full page image is there, sitting next to my text on the second page, or on the fourth page. And you see my image has also come in and it spans the width of that page. My image, let's see what happens when I move my window. So you'll see that it's still placed in the center and it's moved with my text. Let's change my text size. Oops. Let's see what happens to the image when we change our text size. This has actually pushed us off to another page. See, my image has gotten bigger as well. See, you see it just moves along with the text as we go through.